चैप्टर फर्स्ट है द क्रिस्टल केव स्टार्टर्स. Some information on salt. Organ salt is made up of sodium and chlorine. It was formed inside stars due to chemical reactions billions of years ago, when some star exploded and our planet Earth was formed. That salt remained in the rocks and in the seas. Okay, finding salt. We get salt from sea water by letting the water evaporate. When the waters evaporates, salt remains. It is also found in caves and underground caverns. Various methods of mining are used to get this kind of salt, called rock salt. Look at here, यहाँ पे दिए गए हैं. ये रहा salt and ये rock salt है, जो काले नमक होता है वो. हाँ, समुद्र के किनारे मिलता है ये. Uses salt is used in cooking and seasoning, in medicines, in making glass, paper, soaps and detergents. कहाँ का यूज़ होता है? मेडिसिन्स में, मेकिंग ग्लास में, पेपर्स में, कुकिंग में, सोप्स में और डिटर्जेंट्स में ऑल्सो. ऑन हाईवे टू मेल्ट आइस इन स्नोवी सीजन्स. फॉर प्रिविजन्स, फॉर एग्जाम्पल, इट वॉज यूज्ड टू प्रिजर्व मीमाइंस फॉर थाउजेंड ऑफ ईयर्स. नीड. ऑल डोमेस्टिक एंड वाइल्ड एनिमल्स नीड सॉल्ट. जो भी डोमेस्टिक और वाइल्ड एनिमल्स हैं उनको भी नीड होती है. डियर, काउ, शिप्स फ्रिक्वेंट पैलेस विथ नेचुरल मिनरल्स डिपोजिट नो एज सॉल्ट लिक्स वेयर दे ingest sterile sodium and chlorine minerals to survive. In language, words and fishes like a celery salad take with a grain of salt. Worth their salt, the salt of the earth have their origin in salt. Look at here. The Northeast tribes lives in the riverine mountains district of Trip in the beautiful state of Arunachal Pradesh. Here is a story of Tyang and Changun, two brave Northeast children. Tate's his grandpa's come along said the scooped out a landful of both from the pan over the fire palace. It smelled delicious. Grandpa below on the bamboo ladles to cool to the broth. Then she perched a little into Thank and Chengun's open mouths. Look at here. ये रही ग्रैंडपा, उन्होंने कुछ खाने के लिए बनाया है, पेन है, तो वो उनसे कहती हैं बच्चों से कि आप टेस्ट करके देखो कि इसका टेस्ट कैसा है. तो वो स्पून में लेके आते हैं एंड बच्चे कहते हैं सो डिलीशियस, स्मेल बहुत डिलीशियस है. एंड टेस्ट करते हैं. ये एक्सट्रीमली टैंग, इट टेस्ट अवरफुल, डोंट लाइक इट. Do you say it, Grandpa, with a tasteless grin? But watch how now, using a ladle and scooped up a little salt from a wooden bowl and put into the broth. She sang notes, bold as she strived. Then she made the children taste the broth of once more. Delicious, Grandpa, they said, smoking their lips in approval. Magic. Magic, isn't it? Grandpa said the broth was tasteless before, but now it is delicious. What cases these miracles? Salt, the children said in chorus. Grandpa placed their read maths upon the floor, as well dishes of wood and bamboo tumbles, landing out steaming rice and both on the plates. She said that's right. For the notice, salt is more precious than gold. Our village was rich in the past, continued Grandma. We grew millet and paddy in our fields. The jungles gave us shops, friends, and fruits. Our young men went hunting for mint. And most important, we had salt. Did we make our own sand, Grandpa? Changun asked, surprised. Yes, we did. A salt sparing used to follow by our village. We built shallow throats and fields then with salt water. The sun dried away the water, leaving grains of salt in the throats. Must we been a lot of salt? Tank observed. Yes, much more than what our village required. Read our men stuffed the surplus into hollow bamboo tubes and took it to the plains each winter. They rated the salt for clothes, beads, and other nesties. But there's no salt sparing now, Changun said. Grandpa sigmated. Our village is poor now. We are no longer self sufficient. Our men walked to Khansa township to buy salt. Did the salt spring dry up? Tranks asked. Yes, it happened one winter. Year ago, our source of wealth dried up with it. Why did it dry up? Persisted Trank. No one knows. Tell me, Grandpa, he said. If the spring flowers again, will it bringing properly tea in to our village? Certainly, smiled Grandpa Kamlong. Later in the afternoon, Thang and Changun went to search the spot where the salt sparing had flowered into the rivers. To their surprise, they had no difficulty. The furrow through which the salt sparing had flowers was clearly visible. Only fence and creepers covered the furrow. They could see it wind up the mountains, a ribbon of light green agents the darker green of dense jungles. Thiang cried, "We can follow it upstream." Early next day, after their morning meal, Tiang and Changun started for their quest. Both had bamboo tubes strapped to their backs to carry drinking water in them. They were children of the mountains. The steep climb may have excited others, but not them. They were not afraid of jungles either because they lived close to nature. They know that most of these dangers were imaginary only if accidentally disturbed a wild animals would in attacks. So far they had met with only one obstacle. लार्गेज पैथन सांप की ब्रीड है बस it just said it is a blunt humor. He liked it. He'd flickered out its forked tongue and slides away to higher branch. But halfway up the mountain, a more serious obstacle come their way. Ahead of a wild elephant, Changyun said, taking care not to make the least notice. They care. Up a little ahead, they could not see the head. The grey black hides of the elephants blended too well with the foliage, but the sound made by the head as it fed grew louder. Soon it became clear that the elephants had chosen the spot as a feeding ground, and it seemed as if they might stay on for quite a while. There was no question of trying to sleep throughout that yard. Their path upstream was firmly blocked. What do we do now, टैंक चेंगुन आस्केड वो सोचता है क्या करूँ. चेंगुन उसे कहती है कि वी वेट. हर ब्रदर रिप्लाइड ग्रीमली. The children waited apart from the sound made by the feeding elephants, and the jungle was silent. The deep hush was broken only twice by the huku call or hukul gibbon and penguin scrambling through the undergrowth. They waited patently for over 2 hours, and then finally they heard heavy bodies crush through the thick foliage. The elephant here was on the move. Look at here. Okay, ये pictures है. They climbed for an hours and all of students stumbled into the clearing. Hundreds of hoof marks were visible on the ground. There were also some pug marks of wild cats and important imprints of elephant feet. Changyun cried out, "It is a natural salt lick. Wild animals game to lick the earth for salt. These took care of the salt requirement of their bodies. The salt spitting furrow ran through the center of the clearing for some distance and then dissipated into a hollow. Tiang and Changun raced towards the hollow. As they had guessed, it was a cave. The sunlight it lit up the entire at the cave's mouth. The walls of the tunnel, like cave, were coated with white crystals. Heaps of crystals rose like molehills from the floor and dangled like webs nest from the ceiling. The pure white crystalline heaps glittered in the slanting rays of the afternoon sun. Tiang bent down and picked up a pinch of the crystal, put it to the tip of the tongue. It's a salt, he whispered in wonder, as if unable to believe his tongue. Next, as soon he began to hop about wildly in imitations of tribal war dance, whooping and shaking in gay abandon. We found salt, he cried. Changyun cried, "There's enough salt in this cave to last our village 1,000 years. That tunnel like a cave is a natural salt mine." The speeding flowered through it, crying some of the salt away, said Changun. The sun was already halfway down on its journey across the horizon. The children knew they must hurry back to their village. Though they wanted to locate the salt spring, they knew this was not the right time. They drank the water in the bamboo tubes. Then they placed the tubes upside down on the ground to dry them completely. They packed the tubes with salt, then crying the tissues upon their backs, they began the descent home. The villagers and had a meanwhile begun worrying. When they saw the two children descend, the crowd broke out into loud cheers. The children ran extensively to Grandpa Kamlong. They shouted, We have found a cave of salt. Our village will be produced again under stepping the bamboo tubes. They portioned the salt onto the earth. The hips glowed. The hips glowed in the light of the setting sun. Grandpa loudly, happily. "Well done, children," the chief said. "Your courage deserves to be rewarded. You two will be the chief guest drinking during this Loku festival." So picking the Tiang up, the chief placed him on his shoulders. Changyun's father picked her up and placed her on his shoulders. Grandpa Kamlong broke out into a notice ballad for coverage. The villagers sang along and began अ ग्रैंड सेलिब्रेशंस। ओके, अरूप कुमार दत्ता जो इसके राइटर हैं।